Traveling merchants are one of the most useful types of characters to include or encounter in a Star Wars story, from tabletop RPGs to fanfiction. Let's take a look at 5 ways they can haul their goods across the galaxy to wherever you happen to be. I'm Joey from Radio Free Coruscant, and these are 5 more of the best ships for traveling merchants in Star Wars. Shekelesh-class. For a small-scale merchant, especially one looking to operate out of tight spaces, there is no better transport than the Techno-Union Shekelesh-class freight gunship. This oddly shaped vessel had its cockpit and crew quarters on its bell-shaped upper deck, and a small cargo bay below. It would be very easy to build out a tiny shop in the cargo hold, but it would probably be better to carry along tables and canopies to set up a stand outside the ship instead. The Shekelesh's small size, and particularly its tall but narrow shape, would let you park it in tight spaces that most other ships couldn't access, making it great for things like event vendors. I particularly like the idea of it being used as a traveling concession stand with its silly hut-like shape, but it could be used for basically any sort of traveling merchant equally well. Its tall antennae at the top would be perfect for hanging flags or banners from to advertise your business, and its many landing gear legs could be painted with information about your wares. Overall, while it wouldn't necessarily be great for most businesses, it would be absolutely perfect for traveling merchants in need of a compact but distinctive vessel. The Shekelesh-class measured 21.5 meters tall by about 17 meters long and 9 meters wide. It had a Class 1 hyperdrive, but a pitiful top atmospheric speed of 300 kilometers per hour. It was armed with 2 twin laser cannons and supposedly required 8 crew. It could almost certainly be flown by as few as 2, though. I would imagine most of the 8 crew are for loading and unloading it. The cargo capacity of the Shekelesh is unknown, but I would estimate it to be around 15 to 20 tons, and I would guess the ship to cost around 100,000 credits new, or 50,000 used. Drovan Freighter. This next ship is one that we sadly don't know anything about, but I think it would be great for traveling merchants nonetheless. The Drovan Freighter was a fairly large cargo ship with a very distinctive twin-hull design. For merchants looking to stand out in a crowd, this would be a fantastic choice. Its appearance is sure to impress existing customers and attract new ones to your location when you land. Unlike the Shekelesh, it was likely large enough to construct a full-sized store in its cargo hold if that is how you plan to conduct business. And of course, you could pack in even more cargo if you don't need customers to be able to come in and browse. Dropping items off somewhere or offering customers a digital cargo manifest to buy from would obviously let you pack in items much more tightly. Finally, the Drovan Freighter was seemingly quite comfortable for a cargo ship. Its command bridge was relatively large for its size, as was the forward gun turret. It also appeared to have a large sunroof on one side, perhaps to give the crew a good view out of a break room or their quarters. All of these things point to a ship designed around providing a pleasant home and workplace for its crew. The Drovan Freighter measured roughly 100 meters long by 85 meters wide and 10 meters tall, though its size was unusually difficult to estimate. All of the other stats are even rougher guesses, but it likely had a Class 2 hyperdrive and a top atmospheric speed of 850 kilometers per hour. It was armed with 2 large weapons and 2 medium ones, both attached to the same turret. These were probably a twin heavy laser cannon and a twin ion cannon, but given its size, I could see the larger ones being a twin light turbo laser instead. It probably required at least 10 flight crew and several cargo handling crew, and could carry perhaps 10 passengers, 5,000 tons of cargo, and 6 months of consumables. All of that likely gave it a price tag of 500,000 credits new, or 250,000 used. Tatooine Transport. Another even less known ship that would be good for merchants is the unidentified transport that carried Obi-Wan Kenobi from Tatooine to Daiyu in the Kenobi series. The ship was on the larger end of the light freighter size range, and had room for numerous passengers that could be converted into shop space instead. It had an external cargo rack that could carry 2 containers of additional inventory to refill the shelves if you run out. And of course, if you prefer to exhibit your goods outdoors and don't want a full-fledged store, the interior space could allow you to carry much more cargo. The exterior cargo rack could also potentially be used to store a land speeder that would let you make deliveries on the ground if desired. The unidentified Tatooine transport was also a very rugged and reliable vessel, great for merchants traveling to remote Outer Rim locations where trustworthy mechanics are hard to find. The transport Obi-Wan boarded was rusted almost beyond recognition, yet still got him to Daiyu without incident. Not that I would recommend neglecting your hull coating, but at least this suggests that you should be able to keep the ship running even if you can't afford regular maintenance. The ship measured roughly 45 meters long by 18 meters wide and 9 meters tall. It probably had a Class 3 hyperdrive rating, and seemed pretty fast in atmospheric flight, possibly around 900 kilometers per hour. The ship likely required at least 3 crew, a pilot, co-pilot, and engineer. It could probably carry around 30 passengers, 150 tons of cargo, and 1 month of consumables. And for something like this, I would estimate it to have a price of 200,000 credits new, or 90,000 used. Guild de Danzo Yacht. Of course, not every salesman deals in merchandise that can be carried in just any old freighter. Merchants targeting a higher class of customer would likely prefer something along the lines of the Guild de Danzo Custom Star Yacht. This luxury vessel was the perfect size to be able to carry a fair amount of goods with you without being excessive, and fancy enough to be able to schmooze clients in its passenger lounge. This lounge had a high-quality holoprojector, allowing you to display merchandise that can't fit aboard the ship, or just to provide entertainment during negotiations. It also had sophisticated anti-shock fields and acceleration compensators to ensure a smooth ride through even the most turbulent atmospheres, as well as many other amenities that made these rare ships highly sought after among the wealthiest people in the galaxy. If you're going to sell to the ultra-rich, you will need a ship that appeals to the ultra-rich, and the Guild de Danzo Yacht delivers. The GDL yacht measured 52.9 meters long by 26.1 meters wide and 7 meters tall. It was said to be extremely fast, and as such probably had a Class 1 hyperdrive and a top speed of 1200 kilometers per hour. The ship required 2 crew and could carry at least 14 passengers. It could probably carry around 10 tons of cargo as well, though the Guild de Danzo yacht was built to order, so you could presumably request more cargo space at the cost of some of your passenger capacity if preferred. The price of the ship likely varied based on what materials you chose to use in it. I would estimate a cost of 500,000 credits new or 300,000 used for a very basic yacht, outfitted with the cheapest materials offered, or 1 million new and 700,000 used for a much more exotic vessel. CSS1. And finally, one of the best ships for traveling merchants in Star Wars would have to be the Corellian Engineering Corporation CSS1 Corellian Star Shuttle. This mid-sized transport is the perfect blend of good qualities from all the other ships on this list. Large enough to carry everything you need, but not too large to find a parking spot, dignified enough to make you look like a reputable businessman whether you are or not without breaking the bank, and having a stylish and memorable appearance without sacrificing cargo capacity for looks. Like most of the other ships on this list, you could either build out a whole store inside the ship or just use it as a transport to carry goods to existing markets, but its efficient use of space made it exceptionally good for both strategies. And unlike the other ships, it was extremely well protected, with thick armor and powerful shields, making it good for merchants selling expensive wares or traveling through dangerous territories. The ship was unarmed by default though, so if you need to go to areas with particularly severe pirate activity, it might be a good idea to retrofit it with extra weapons like the Republic Judicial Forces did with some CSS-1s in the Stark Hyperspace War and other conflicts. It might even be possible to get one of those ships secondhand, though I wouldn't count on it. It would probably be easier to just add weapons to a standard civilian model. The CSS1 measured 80 meters long by about 34 meters wide and 17 meters tall. It had a Class 1.5 hyperdrive and a top atmospheric speed of 800 kilometers per hour. It required a crew of 8 and could carry an impressive 200 passengers, 900 tons of cargo, and 3 years of consumables. The price of the CSS1 is unknown, but based on its size and capabilities, I think a cost of 500,000 credits new or 200,000 used would be more than reasonable. And those are 5 more of the best ships for traveling merchants in Star Wars. Let me know which of these you would choose, or what else you would have included instead in the comments, and be sure to check out the previous 2 installments next. Don't forget to subscribe as well so you don't miss a video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. RFC, out.